Well, equality feels like oppression when you are treated special just because you've got something between your legs that doesn't hang and swing in the wind. So I ran across this story. This one is in the Los Angeles Times. The headline, Women Only STEM College Programs Under Attack for Male Discrimination. Oh, you think? Do you? Do you think there's any discrimination there? Female-only scholarships for STEM, but for men, fuck them. Men are privileged. Why should they get any special treatment? Oh, no. Wouldn't it be fair? Wouldn't it be balanced? Wouldn't it be feminist to offer male-only scholarships to major in women's studies or lesbian dance theory or anything like that? Wouldn't it make... No, absolutely not. Because men, as we all know, are privileged. They come out of the birth canal and they're handed a big package of CEO privilege. All of us are going to be CEOs. But women, of course, are oppressed because they don't have a weenus. That's right, everybody. Oh, you didn't know that. Oh, you didn't know women are treated specially because they're... No. It's not special treatment because it's for historical oppression. 400,000 years ago, women may have been discriminated against in the caves in France. So it's like an original sin that we men have to keep paying for. You think about it, it kind of sounds like a religion, doesn't it? Or a cult. So this is in the Los Angeles Times. Female-only science programs launched by many universities to redress gender imbalance in such fields as computer science and engineering are coming under growing legal attack as sex discrimination against men. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Do you see the same scholarships with respect to majors that females tend to dominate, such as pretty much medicine, pretty much psychology, pretty much the arts and humanities? Do you see male scholarships for any of these to correct the imbalance? Of course not. Of course, but for women you do. Oh, by the way, since 1979, women have outnumbered men in college. Far more women graduate from college today with degrees, BS, with MS, with PhD degrees than men. 3-2-2. Now, excuse me, if women outnumber men by 1.5 times in college, shouldn't there be some kind of a program to get more men involved in college? Since male college students are the minority. No, and fuck no. You see, 400 years ago, women weren't allowed to go to college. So it's only payback for what happened before anyone here today was born. That's the way these people think. Same with slavery reparations. No one alive in the United States today was ever a slave. No one in the United States ever owned a slave who is alive today. We had nothing to do with it but the original sin. Take money from people who never owned slaves and give it to people who never were slaves. Same thing here, isn't it? Oh, women were oppressed 150 years ago. They couldn't go work at the insurance company, which didn't exist 150 years ago. There was nowhere to go and work in an air-conditioned office in 1840. But yet, we today, men who were not alive to discriminate against women, we are forced to pay the price. Oh my God. The U.S. Department of Education has opened more than 24 investigations into universities across the nation, including UC Berkeley, UCLA, and USC, as well as Yale, Princeton, and Rice, that offer female-only scholarships and awards and professional development workshops, and even science and engineering camps for middle and high school girls, but not boys. You see, the premise is based upon the fact, they think it's a fact, that all men are privileged. All men are privileged. And thus, we need to do something for the whammons, who are all freaking oppressed. It's a premise built on bullshit. We all know this. Women know this. Feminists know this. Some of the really crazy ones think they're actually oppressed. It's like, what? Do you live in reality? Or are you in the other dimension where reality doesn't exist? Sex discrimination in educational programs is banned under Title No. No. LA Times. No. Against women is banned under Title IX. Don't go saying it applies to both people. No. Any anti-discrimination policy in effect is only for women, not for men. Do you understand that? But of course, it's not. It applies to men too. Now we've got the feminazis going crazy. Oh my God, Title IX is for women. It's not for men. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Our secret will be revealed. We're privileged. Title IX is a federal law that applies to all schools, public and private, that receive federal funding. A new study released by the way, Title IX originally was set out because females didn't have access to athletics as much as men did, college football, basketball. Women didn't have that. And so they passed this law saying, hey, come on now. Girls got to have a team too. It's like, sure, it makes sense. Oh, but look how it's been applied in the interim. Now a woman who has consensual sex in her dorm room on a Friday night can change her mind the next day and have that guy removed from college. Yeah, with no proof involved, because we don't need no stinking proof. I'm a whammon. What I say is the truth. In her mind it is, isn't it? So a new study released found 84% of about 220 universities offer single-gender scholarships, many of them in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. That practice is permitted under Title IX only if the overall effect of scholarships is equitable. Now, what moron in any freaking universe can say any female scholarship today, where women are 60% of the college students, is equitable? Nobody can say that. Well, the feminists are saying it, of course, because women 4,000 years ago were oppressed. The study by a Maryland-based nonprofit group advocating gender equality or equity on college campuses showed the majority of campus awards lopsidedly benefited women. Is anyone who swallowed the red pill surprised about this? Why are there government set-asides for female-owned businesses? Why is that a thing? Oh, that's right. In 10,000 BC, women were oppressed. Thus, it's the original sin men who had nothing to do with it have to keep paying for. In California, for example, 11 colleges and universities that were reviewed offered 117 scholarships for women only and 4 for men, according to the survey by Stop Abuse in Violent Environments. The group was originally founded to lobby for due process rights for those accused of campus sexual misconduct. That would be men. That would be only men. Because women's get a free pass, and when they don't, oh my God. But men, they oppress women. The pendulum has swung too far in the other direction, according to Everett Bartlett, the organization's president, who plans to file federal complaints against about 185 campuses if they don't sufficiently respond to questions about the scholarship practices. Quote, we're not a society based on quotas. Bartlett, are you nuts? Of course we are. We've got to have 51% females in everything. And if females in things exceed 50, that's all right. That was past oppression. See, it's the past. We got to look into the past to find out when Western women were oppressed. Because certainly not today. They are advantaged, as women have always been throughout history. Just ask the guys whose village was invaded by the Mongolian hordes. Ask those men as their heads were getting removed, if they had privilege at that point. And ask the women who survived, probably as slaves, but they lived, if they were oppressed by not getting themselves killed. Emily Martin of the National Women's Law Center. Is there a National Men's Law Center? Do you know the answer to that? Ms. Martin argued that such female-focused programs are allowed under Title IX. It might be, Ms. Martin, but it's not equal, is it? I thought feminism was about equality for everybody. Oh, no. You mean they're lying to us, guys? Do you? Under Title IX, they are permissible affirmative action to overcome conditions that resulted in limited participation of one gender in a particular educational program 5,000 years ago. Ms. Martin, nothing that I know of, and maybe this is my male privilege shining through, because I've got my CEO knapsack on my back, just in case, somebody makes me a CEO of something, because I'm white and male. Explain to me why something that may have happened 150 years ago, or let's go back even farther, 10,000 years ago. Why should men today have to pay for the sins of the past when they weren't even alive? Help me under-freaking stand it. Ms. Martin blasted the growing national wave of complaints, alleging that men are being treated unfairly under Title IX, most prominently in sexual misconduct cases and now in STEM. Are you fucking kidding me? Ms. Martin, have you even looked at the news? Even the left-wing progressive propaganda wing, otherwise known as the mass media, they report what's going on with Title IX and sexual misconduct. And sexual misconduct, oh my God. He was stalking her. He was blah, blah, blah. These people having their lives ruined by some woman who regrets it. Not that she was raped, not that she was sexually assaulted. She made a stupid decision. And now she can't blame herself, so she cries rape. And conveniently, there's no due process. She doesn't call the cops because, after all, the cops might, want some proof. She calls the Title IX office because guess who works in the Title IX offices? Women's studies majors have to get a job somewhere, don't they? U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos has proposed sweeping changes to Title IX rules that would bolster the rights of the... Oh, really? You mean due process? A fair hearing for men? No. That's discrimination. You see, you gotta believe all women. If you're accused of something and you're a college student and you're a man, you're fucked. Ms. Martin says there's a pretty well-organized and well-financed movement that is pushing out the false narrative that men are the victims of feminism. That has nothing to do with the topic, Ms. Martin. Men are victims of a guilty before proving yourself innocent in the Title IX system, if you can even prove it. Sometimes you can prove it, and it doesn't matter, because the outcome is predetermined. He is a rapist. But that's okay to you, isn't it? Because women's 5,000 years ago. Come freaking on. One public college female professor disagreed. She filed a Title IX complaint against UCLA, challenging 2 workshops for women held by the campus Institute for Pure and Applied Mathematics. The January Women in Mathematics and Public Policy. Was there a corresponding Men in Mathematics? And of course not. Men are all privileged. Get it through your freaking head, guys. You are privileged, whether you are or not. You're an evil man. The January workshop focused on cybersecurity and climate change and specified on a flyer that only women will be invited to participate. Odd that, isn't it? The collaborative workshop for women in mathematical biology was held in June to focus on biological and medical questions only for women. The Society for Women Engineers is only for women. Is there a society for male engineers? Fuck no, because men are privileged. In university hiring, a 2015 study by Cornell University found that hypothetical female applicants for tenure-track assistant professorships were discriminated against. They weren't even hired because they're women. That's the narrative. They were women, they're not hired. Give it to the white men because they're privileged. No? Oh, no. No, the women were favored 2-1 over men. I'm shocked. I am shocked. Quote, I obviously want women to be able to have opportunities to further their education and have employment in STEM, but I feel everything is being pushed for women. This is according to the female professor. For me, Title IX is about being completely fair. Well, good for you. Your opinion matters not, for there are greater things driving Title IX, and we don't matter. Feminism is about equality, but when it exceeds males, then it's fine. We hear this bullshit narrative all the fucking time, don't we? Well, it's just about equality between them. No, it's not. Maybe at one time it was, but not anymore. If you had a gathering that said men for X, Y, and Z, there'd be a fucking protest. There'd be riots on the campus. That's unfair. Look at this patriarchy. But when you do it for women, not a fucking problem. Even if you said, hey, this says men's only conference for blah, 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 but we didn't actively exclude women. They could have gone. Do you think that would be a sufficient excuse for the radical, rabid feminists? No. Are we giving men scholarships so we have a more equal balance in elementary education? Oh, we're not. Because it's tough shit. If men don't want to be teachers, well, that's their fucking problem. Well, wait a minute. If women don't want to be engineers, it's discrimination. Do you see how this game is played? Link below. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.